Fuel arriving in Uganda is a lifeline for the economy. Most of it travels through infrastructure linked to Kenya's pipeline system before being distributed across the country to power transport, factories and homes. Now Kenya is selling a majority stake in the company that runs it and encouraging Ugandan investors to take part. Officials in Kampala say participation could strengthen energy security and give Ugandans a direct stake in infrastructure that keeps the economy running. At a time of global uncertainty, supply stability remains critical.
If the Gulf of maize is not sufficiently operating, the disruptions in the global supply chains are the only ones which we are very afraid of. But from the signals that are on the horizon, there is still also not much cause for alarm, given the US-Iran tensions.
The IPO also reflects how closely the two economies are tied. In 2024, Kenya exported nearly $950 million worth of goods to Uganda, including cement and refined petroleum products. Uganda, in turn, exported over $500 million to Kenya, largely agricultural products such as tea and dairy. That deep trade relationship is now extending into shared ownership of strategic assets.
The capital markets, I do strongly believe, are a great avenue to support the growth of financial markets, not only in Uganda, but across the region and across the continent. So, highly supportive of any institutions that want to raise capital using debt markets, or capital and debt markets. Yeah.
Analysts say the listing could test how ready regional investors are to finance large infrastructure projects through capital markets, rather than relying on government borrowing or foreign loans. But they caution that investors will weigh risks carefully.
When one has to invest in an IPO, I think some of the things that are critical is what is your investment appetite? What is your risk appetite? What sort of pricing are you looking at? How long are you looking to invest for? So when an IPO has been issued, those are some of the considerations that one would look at.
Beyond the numbers, the offer is also testing how far regional integration can go. If Ugandan investors take up a significant share of this pipeline company, it will show growing trust in the region, not just in energy needs, but in shared infrastructure as a smart investment. With oil and gas activities expanding across East Africa, investors are now being asked to support the region's growth story. For Uganda, securing fuel supply remains a top priority, especially as the country prepares for its own crude production and export infrastructure through the Uganda-Tanzania pipeline.
Oil and gas is going to be a major enabler in this economy. It's going to create some very, very interesting catalytic action within the economy, so much so that everybody is going to see benefits, directly, indirectly induced.
If successful, the IPO could become a model of how East Africa funds and manages the infrastructure that powers its growth. Mike Kobaleke, CGTN, Kampala.